Hi, everybody. There's a crow right on the edge of that rock over there. Oh, he's taking off. Wow. He's been with me for a while. Isn't he beautiful? I love crows. I wanted to talk to you about gaslighting. It's a tactic that was used on me my whole life. It's heinous. It causes confusion, and it keeps you from being able to make decisions. And, ooh, look at this. Ooh, I got to the end. Oh, you've got to see it. And it causes a lot of damage. Not being able to make a decision over anything is very hard. Looking to other people for your own reality is, it's never going to give you the truth of anything. And if you're looking for the truth like I have been, then you know that nothing else is going to suffice. If a lot of cars down there. If you've been around narcissists your whole life, or even just recently, maybe you had a boyfriend who liked to drive fast in his car and scare you. It seems like he does it just to scare you. Narcissists love to do that. It's a captive audience when you're in their car. And when they try to scare you all the time, you know, it's they like to keep you in constant fight or flight or angrier. They get power out of making you feel a certain way. It's very heinous. And that, causes the chemical dumps to your brain, which causes a short-term memory loss. And it always keeps you walking on eggshells, always wondering when the next shoe is going to drop. And that keeps you away from God. It kills your connection. And they know this. They know this. You're constantly thinking about them. They're a false God. They're not a true God. I think that's what this awakening has to do with, because God, okay, narcissists, they can be charismatic. They can get people to sign up for their story, whatever it might be. They're always going to be the victim, and you're always going to be the perpetrator, believe it or not. And the story's always going to go down their way. You can't win with these people. There's really no win. You have to walk away. And that's when you win. It sounds weird, but fighting with them at all is a no-brainer, because here's the thing. They're always going to be able to fight way dirtier than you will, because they have no scruples, no morals. They lie, cheat, and steal daily. And people who you would never, ever imagine would do stuff like that, they do it all the time. We just are not privy to it because they're so covert about it. Narcissists are very covert. They're damaging you in every way possible, and you are none the wiser. And if that's not heinous, I don't know what is. We need to separate ourselves from them. We don't ever want to take matters or situations into our own hands. I'm telling you right now, if you do that, you are not going to fare well. You are not going to fare well. What you need to do is pray about it, turn it over to Jesus, and go about your day. And don't think about it anymore, because the more you think about it, the more it's part of your own reality. When you're trying to break free from a trauma bond, one of the best things to remember is all the horrible times, because your brain wants to go back to the good times. And that's what helps keep you in servitude. It keeps you tied to them. Remembering any of the very, very rare few good times is what keeps you tied to them. Because and here's the thing, there were so few good times that they're etched into your mind because you were deprived of anything good in your life while you were with them. You were deprived of that stuff. And getting it back in your life is the only way to break free from a trauma bond. So if you find you're mentally tied to somebody else, the best thing to do is not to remember the 2 or 3 good times, but to remember all the horrible times. Write them down, memorize them. Go back to them every time that the name or the person pops into your head. Then remember the bad times. That will help. Also, a way to totally have your mind go blank. If you find it hard to clear your mind when you're meditating or anything like that, like I always say, disconnect your eyes from your brain. And if you try that right now, you'll see that it completely clears your mind. I mean, sometimes I use that one 100 times a day. I was raised by narcissists, therefore groomed by them at a very early age, to always be there for them, to always let it be their way, to never talk back, never, all the things you're taught. No emotions, or you get a scowl, We weren't allowed to have emotions. And it was always met with that scowl. And narcissists, they have this smirk. I call it the cat that ate the canary or the Mona Lisa smirk. But whenever you get hit by a bus, look around. If someone cannot resist but smirk, they're the ones who got you put under that bus. And sometimes, the way the universe works, everything is mental. Narcissists think that they're God. Okay, they literally, I know, my sister literally thinks that when she dies, the world's going to stop revolving. I mean, really, that's how they think. They think that they are the best thing that ever happened to anybody, and that everybody should be praising and honoring them. But when it doesn't work out her way, and now that she's getting older especially, I think things just stop working for them like they used to when narcissists are young. I'm telling you what, everything she wished for, and believe me, all she ever wished for was my downfall, she got. And here's another one. Because I got all of my whole family's shame and rejection and blame heaped onto me, and I took that stuff on, I was the one that got hit by the karma wheel every time. And when I get hit, I look around, they're all smirking. They couldn't wait for me to go down. I don't know how to explain it, but karma definitely hits the one who does not feel good about themselves, who doesn't feel worthy. See, narcissists, they feel real good about themselves every time they can push your buttons and get you to dysregulate so they can calm down and feel good about themselves, feel powerful. And when you feel powerful, the universe recognizes that in a big way and gives you more power. Believe me, I'm 63 years old and I've seen how this stuff works. And I want you to know this. We're all going through an awakening. Ooh, I wrote something on Reddit that was really good. I'm such a great writer. Anyway, ooh, nice rock. I have to get it. Ooh, gotta get this one. Nope, they were both 3-sided. Okay. All is mental. So if they feel superior and they feel in control and in power, they get to be superior, in control, and have more power over whatever they want. How's that? And if you have been scapegoated your whole life and feel like you have no power, then you're not going to have any power, and you're going to get more and more taken from you. And that's the God honest truth. That's how the universe works, my doggies. That's how the universe works. So, if you've been feeling down lately, and then things just keep getting worse, now you know why. Because the universe only recognizes a sense of authority, a sense of accomplishment, since narcissists think that they're God, they're omnipotent. And the universe backs them up on that. It's heinous, I know. But it does. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's no wonder there's so many narcissists in this world, and I'm telling you why. Because they thrive here. We put them on pedestals because they're charismatic. Pop, we're going this way. Aggie. They're charismatic. They know how to talk up to the crowd, or they know how to win your sympathy over with their sob stories. They know how to manipulate situations and people's opinions to serve them. Pop! Sorry. Pop, come here. Come. Okay, I got him coming. Oh boy, I'm sorry. But, you know, ooh, I want to look out this way again. People, I don't want to make this about us and them. This, you know, if you find there's a narcissist in your life, from that point on, it's not about them anymore at all. It's about you and how you handle the situation. You know, I know sometimes it's so sneaky and so heinous you never saw it. You know, that's how it was with my family. It was so sneaky and so heinous that I couldn't even imagine that that's what they were doing. But that's what they were doing. And wrapping my head around it took forever. But, you know, radical acceptance is true. You got to go with the radical acceptance. That's all you can do. And, okay, so, and I've said this lots of times before. About relationships. You're always looking for someone. Okay, when the person who raised you is the person that made you feel safe. Okay? Even if it wasn't a safe situation, they made you feel safe. So, you might have gotten your wires crossed. I know my wires have been crossed all my life. And every situation I thought was safe was not safe. And every situation that I thought was unsafe was safe. So you can imagine how my life has gone. You can just imagine the places and people and situations I've had to endure my whole life. Because I thought that situations were safe and they were not. And the ones that I didn't think were safe were. Okay, so the person who raised you may have been very unsafe and terrifying, but you associate it with safety. So those are the kind of situations that you get in. So you're, okay, if you were raised by narcissists, then what you're going out there and finding out in the world are other narcissists. And you think, since that they feel familiar and you're used to all these ways, that that it's safe. But it's not. And you got to know this. You got to know that that is not safety. You've got to rewire your brain. That's where Dr. Joe Dispenza comes in. You need to rewire your brain. I'll go into a little bit of it on here. But basically, you know, you have an inner critic. And if you're raised around narcissists, it can be quite cruel. Telling you things like, oh, you'll never achieve that. You can't do that. You know? And basically, they don't even have to be there to say that anymore. You take that on yourself and you start telling yourself that. Because it's all you've heard your whole life. You think it's true. And your inner critic takes over. Now the narcissists aren't even here because you kicked them all out of your life, but you have to deal with this. The inner critic. The one that is cruel. And demanding. And calculating. Believe it or not. My inner critic is. It always knows how to self-sabotage me. It does. And to say the most heinous things to me that I would never say to anybody else. You know? I would never say these things to other people. But somehow, I think it's okay to say it to myself. But it's wrong. It's really wrong. Wow, it's pretty out there. Sorry, guys, I've just been walking along. Not paying attention. Just talking because talking makes me feel better. You know, and if I can help one single person out there who's going through this stuff. I spend most of my time in the desert anymore. I lost everything. But I want you to know, you do have guides. Go back. Just about every video I mention how you can get in touch with your guides by asking for a sign. And they will give you that sign, I guarantee you. You will get it quick, real quick. Especially if you're in trouble. Like if, okay, I was in a relationship where basically I was being held against my will. Working at a job I didn't like. Working for a man I didn't like. Living with a man I couldn't stand. And it was all because I was trauma bonded to him. And I didn't know how to escape. But there are ways of escape. And I've gone over that a few times too, and I'll do so in my next video. But I want everyone to know that they don't have to be trauma bonded. You know, just the mental chains that bind. You don't have, you know, and even sometimes when you do get away, you end up going back. And, you know, it's like, and everyone says, well, I would think that you'd be glad he's dead. He was horrible to you, you know? Yeah, but when you're trauma bonded, it's like someone just cut off an appendage and left you bleeding on the floor, you know? It's really raw, and it hurts like a bitch. Anyway, guys, those are some things I had to go over tonight. And you know, when I'm making these videos, it's usually advice I'm giving myself because I think a lot of us are going through it right now with this awakening, this Christ consciousness awakening. That's why I say, whatever you do, do not retaliate. We're supposed to turn the other cheek and ask God for his help in whatever it is we need. If we need to leave and find another place to live or get a job, God's there. He's waiting to hear from you. And I really hope that you pray and tell him where you're at and what you need so he really can help you. And there are a lot of ways to get out of this. So just know that there is help out there once you do get away, so you never have to go back. Even though they may be controlling you with money like they did for me. They controlled me with money big time. But there are ways around that. You can still escape. You really can. Anyway, my name's Laura. I'm making it my mission to talk about any topic that keeps people from being free, that keeps people enslaved to other people, doing jobs they don't like, living in homes with people they don't like, and feeling that they don't have a choice. Because actually you really do. You just may have never known that. Because I know I didn't. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize I had a choice. Anyway, I love you all. And know that I'm thinking of you. And leave some comments and give me a like. And I'll be putting out some more videos. See ya.